Hello, good morning. It is early in the morning. I just use that time where I have a bit of peace and quiet also to record another video describing my progress here with my three simulators. In this case it is FS2020, and I just quickly want to show you where I am with this. This is the intro sequence that you always get when you start MS2020. You need to click and then the simulator will start up. So let's have a quick look at what I did to install it. It's on this Floozy flight simulator disk F, and mainly it creates an MSFS packages folder. There is also other folders that are around the Microsoft app structure, but this is actually the main folder. This is where the simulator and all its add-ons are located. And yeah, there are two folders in this, community and official. Official is the official release, so all the files that belong to the simulator officially, and I have the Premier Deluxe version, are stored in this official folder and are going to be updated also automatically. There's a big update waiting to be released on Friday. Today is Friday morning. Which one is it? The 28th, 27th? I'm not quite sure. And the other folder on top of that, yeah, and this one is currently filled with roughly 100 gigabyte. And then there's the community folder. There isn't that much in there yet, but this is where all the community or external add-ons are going to be installed. That's my understanding. So you're not touching the main simulator folder. This is already something that I like. And as you can see, Orbix puts in hard links to wherever you define the library for the Orbix products to be. This is, by the way, a freeware that comes from Orbix, the OG20 fairways. It's a very small airport somewhere in the US. They give that out for free if you have the Orbix Central software that you have to have in order to install any of your Orbix products. Then yeah, it will put this in, and you can define where you want that stuff to be located, and I defined it to be located on some other disk. And then they produce this hard link automatically for you. But as soon as this package is in the community folder, it actually gets available, and you can check it out then. Now, there is also a Drzewiecki design. I'm not sure how you pronounce this. Warsaw City. There are some small airports. I haven't actually figured out yet where they are and what they are, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to find it. It's also a free package that you can get from. I forgot actually where you can download it from. There is a download page, I think. Then ENSD. That is. It's a Norwegian airport, Sandan, I think it's called. And that's also a freeware package. You can get this from a website where there is some freeware, and this is a community corrected A320 where they added some small new features. For example, some at least fake displays. I haven't tried it yet. I just installed it, but basically they add some more of the ICAS displays, and they correct the fuel consumption, which is wrong in the default A320. And again, you put that in here, and FSX prepared people will know this one here, sim objects folder, airplanes, and then you see Asobo A320 Neo, and then there are only two files in here. My guess is that the main installation can be extended, corrected by placing files with the sim object airplanes and the folder structure. I'm guessing that this is the same folder structure. Actually, we can check this in a moment. And then just put the replacement files in here. It looks pretty easy actually to get this going. So here, these are only 2 files. And actually what you could do is you could go to the other folder and then look for the A320neo. Where is it? My attention span, I already forgot what it was called. So let's look for it. Yeah, Asobo aircraft. There it is. That must be it. Yeah, packages, 1 store, A320neo. Yeah. So let's go in here, and what you can see is there is far more files in the original folder. There is an engine CFG, and there's also the other one. Which one? Systems CFG. Yeah, and it seems that when you put corrections by using the same folder name, I'm guessing here, but that's what it looks like to me, then you can apply corrections or modifications to the original aircraft without messing in the files. To be honest, I find this a very good way of adding or modding stuff without messing with the original files, unlike in prepared, where things usually happen if they're not doing it properly with the add-on structure. They happen in those folders directly, and a bit also with Explain, because yeah, if people mod the original files, then they get overwritten again, and they kind of litter then the main simulation folder, and that's something that I'm really working on leaving out on my installations. I want to keep those original simulator files as untouched as possible, so that it's easy to back up. The thing is, then I do not need to back up the whole simulation all the time. What I can do is I can back up the add-on folders so that I have a copy of them in case something changes, I overwrite something nasty happens, then I can back up that other folder and I'm back in business without having to deal with the simulator. Or if the simulator gets lost, I can install it again, and then the add-ons are easily reattached to the simulator. That's the way I want it, and this folder structure seems to support this. There's one thing that I'm not sure I like about this, and that's the fact that theoretically, if I look at how many add-ons we have for prepared, and you know, almost in prepared almost everything is an add-on. Also in Explain, almost everything is an add-on. Custom scenery, airplanes. In Explain, you can actually structure them if you want. You can structure them in a complex folder structure. Airplanes, for example, you can create as many subfolders as you want in order to organize your stuff. In prepared, that's not possible, but yeah, you can use the add-on feature to define the paths. What I don't like here is the fact that everything is on the main level, and I still need to figure it out. Maybe it's possible, but if I imagine that I have 400 or 500 mods eventually, you know, in a couple of years, you may have a couple of 10 to 100 sceneries, 20, 30 aircraft. All of that is then in one folder. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's possible to structure this, but what definitely is a possibility, although it's a bit more awkward, is creating these links and then moving things out. And I guess I'm going to use this like Orbix for me to ensure that I'm not going to litter my my folder. But if you have 200 links or 200 folders, doesn't make it more organized, so to say. So I like this community approach in any case, but yeah, I have my reservations with dumping everything into one folder. So I will see if maybe that can be organized a bit better. Yeah. So very good. Really like that. And at the moment, I'm using about 100 gigabyte here on the disk, plus the 150 gigabyte of reserved cache space. There's the other thing I haven't yet figured out is how do I determine how much of my cache has already been used. I haven't yet found something, but then again, I don't have that much time. And having 3 simulators actually has become more difficult now to to handle things because I keep jumping between simulators, and at the moment, obviously, FS2020 is the main one. Now, I'm going to give you my opinion sort of in advance. I'm not going to do this as a long video. I'm keeping it short. I'm not going to fly. I just want to show you a little bit. What I really like is, the scenery. The fact that I don't have to build auto sceneries or have to live with ugly looking scenery products also. Because not everything in Prepared, for example, even the Orbix products, the old ones, the True Earth are different, but then you can't just plaster True Earth over the whole planet. That would be far too much. So the default and slightly advanced default sceneries that we have in Prepared, they're just not that nice. They are okay, but they're not nice. In X-Plane, the default scenery is also not very inspiring, but you have free ways of getting it better, but it's an awful lot of work. That's the main problem, and it's not for everyone. Having to build autos and the quality isn't very good. So this simulator fulfills the promise or the expectation that I had, is that I can do now good-looking sightseeing flights in areas where I just don't want to put all the work in all the time. Yeah, because I want to fly and I don't want to build hours and days before I can actually do a flight. That definitely is achieved with this simulator. And it's going to be my ad location and so on, at least for most of these. I call them scenic flights. FS2020 will be the simulator. What does not work in this simulator yet is anything I've flown so far, apart from the Cessna 152 and I think also the Skyhawk. They are old analog aircraft. That means they do perform reasonably well. Performance is, by the way, another gripe I have. They do perform reasonably well. And they're perfect for this kind of VFR flying, and especially the 152. I really like it, and it is really well done. Also, it doesn't have any displays, because the displays, and I'm going to have another video about those graphic settings. This is where things didn't turn out as I had hoped for, because when I installed FS2020, it actually put me on medium resolution with a 1080 Ti, 11 gigabytes of RAM, of video RAM, 16 gigabytes of normal RAM, which are almost never used, at least not with these settings I have at the moment. I have about 3 or 4 gigabytes, a bit like FSX and Prepared. And the resolution, so I have the 1K resolution here, 1920 by 1080, and it was just awful. The medium settings that it set up were just eyesore. It was low resolution, in my view, low resolution textures. You could really see that there are not very much high resolution, and ruggedy lines and so on, and it was just awful. And I thought, no, that can't be the experience. Are you serious? Then I went into the settings and I ramped it up to full, and my PC almost, it started smelling. And when you smell this kind of hot smell, you turn it off. You turn things off immediately, because that's not sustainable. Okay, so the ultra settings, yes, they worked, but frames were somewhere around 10 or 11, and it started smelling because the vents here, they went like mad. The whole PC warmed up drastically. CPU was at something like 80-90%, and the GPU was on, yeah. So that's not sustainable, and I don't want to run my simulator like that. So I did do a lot of settings, and I'm going to show you that in a separate video. And I brought it down to, well, with the Cessna, the 152, yes, it kind of sticks with 30 frames per second, roughly. But any of the other aircraft that I put in, I'm down to 20, 19, 15, 13. But I do not get an ultra picture. But at least my CPU and my graphic card, they're not running on overdrive, you know, like that's because if I do this for many hours, then I can wait that I have to replace parts or my PC in the end, and that's not what I want. And it looks like a 1080 Ti is obviously not a suitable graphic card to run this on high performance, and I don't have 4K. You know, I wonder what all these people that run 4K, they run the simulator in 4K with ultra settings, they run OBS or the likes in the background, which always eats up a lot of CPU resources. Yeah, so not only did I have already a problem with running the simulator by standard, but I got into real trouble when I started OBS, and I got actually slideshows on the recording and things like that. So, yeah, I'm not sure. On that end, it disappointed me, to be honest. And yes, I'm going to try and see if things improve. There's going to be updates, so it is well possible that these are maybe known limitations, problems, errors, bugs, who knows? I don't know. And then they're going to get at least somewhat fixed, and the performance will increase, and especially anti-aliasing doesn't seem to work. And that is something that really surprises me, because I don't mind having lower resolution and so on, and I don't mind running with 19 frames per second, because I'm not going to do VATSIM on this one here. So if I do online flying, it'll be on X-Plane, maybe prepared, but probably X-Plane, mainly X-Plane. But I do mind if I can't read the displays, because the lines are just a mess of rugged lines and things like that. And everything is flickering in the cockpit. That is not normal texture design. That's just not on, you know, that's terrible. And I'm not sure why that is, because when it comes to anti-aliasing settings, I have vamped it up to the full. And that's the other thing that I have, the displays in somewhat like the small citation, they are unreadable. It's just not readable. Not with the normal positions. They are absolutely useless. I have difficulties reading the altitude, the heading, and everything is crooked. And I can't get it better. No matter what I try here in the settings, I can't just get it better, or at least suitable. Now I heard that displays can be brought out. I haven't yet discovered how that works. Something with maybe the Alt key or so. So I'm still looking for that. There's some things to come. So let's not do this too long. Just give you my first quite mixed impression of FS2020. A lot of frustrations, and the last frustration, I think I mentioned it in my live streams, definitely did. The menu It looks flashy and funky, but it's a nightmare. Whoever designed the user experience of this thing obviously doesn't use it that much, or just really use it to start the flight and off you go. If you do that, it's easy. Yeah, sure, there isn't that much you have to do. Try and set up your simulator so that it, for example, matches your other ones is a nightmare. So many clicks. I do get cramps in my fingers. Well, that's a bit of a joke, but almost, you know. It's so unintuitive, and it's click, 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 and it repeats, not having the things in the way you need them. You always have to, you come into the controls menu, and you always have to switch from assign to all so that you can get a new one in. And then if you want to test this, you jump out of it, and then you start all of that again and again and again. And it takes flippin' ages to set things like the controls up. Awful, really awful. I discovered some shortcuts, so you get used to it, yes, but it's not a nice experience. No matter what you do, it's awkward, it's roundabout, and things like validate. I mean, seriously, Microsoft, validate. They use the enter key and they use validate what? Yeah, or translate. These are terms that just don't match, and I've seen them in German also, some weird terms where you think, what? I'm guessing that's a French thing, maybe? Possibly. I don't know, because validate, I've never seen a software calling the thing with which you activate things or with which you start things called validate. I didn't even know what they want when I first saw this. So there's still a lot of small things that are weird, not a problem, but weird, like these terms. And then there are things that are just awkward and not a very nice experience. So it's still a lot of work that has to be put into this. And the other thing that I really hate is all the other aircraft, like the Citations, they're all crap. They fly crap. It's very difficult to get your controls. It took me some time for the Cessna, for the 152, but I got it working. But the TPM is shaking and fluttering all the time. I have no wind. I turned off winds and gusts and everything just to make sure that this is not an atmospheric effect. And it goes up and down. The autopilot seem to be still an issue in many aircraft, if they have them. The 152 doesn't have one, so I didn't have issues with the autopilot because it doesn't exist. The Citations, they fly... Blah. Every time I take off from the runway in Munich, it violently... suddenly jerks to the right, I think it was to the right, and then I have real difficulties getting it back straight and not crashing. Yeah, and pause mode, active pause mode. What in the name have they... How can you do an active pause mode where you stop the aircraft somewhere in mid-air, but everything else still continues? So what happened was, in my last stream on Twitch, I paused the aircraft because I wanted to do a quick setting, and I could hear already how the engine spooled up, and I thought, what's going on here? We are stuck in the air. What are you doing? And while I was doing my settings, I realized that something sounds fishy here. Something is wrong. And as soon as I unpaused, I went into a spin and crashed into the... Hello? What is this crap? Make it a proper pause. Just stop everything and not this active pause crap. That is really stupid. I'm getting already agitated again. There are things that I'm really getting worked up about in this simulator. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a fantastic piece of simulator for those things that do work well. But there are many things that I just always get this... You know, we have prepared, we have FSX, we have X-Plane, and they showed how to do it and how to not do it. Yeah, And it seems that the developers of this game have decided to do many things the way you shouldn't do it because nobody else has done it, or something like that. Because you sit in there and you start thinking, the menus, for example, what were you thinking here? Where did you head with this? I can't follow you. You know, it's just not intuitive. And now I've been ranting 25 minutes now. Let's stop this. You can just see FS2020 really has already placed some impressions on me. It is a great piece of software, and I'm looking forward to doing many things, especially visual things like visual flying and sightseeing and so on. I'm really looking forward to that because for that it is the best simulator that we have. But for many other things, no. I'm not going to use it, at least not in this state as it is now. And you can see the arcade nature of the simulator. So don't grow your expectations too high. This is a good piece of software, but not yet finished, not maybe where you want it to be. And if you want this to be a replacement for all the other simulators, I think you have the wrong expectation. It will not. It will add to the experience. It will add aspects that others don't have, but it is not here to replace everything we have in the simulator market. Because Prepared has its own unique features and also its use. X-Plane has very unique features and its use. And this one has also very unique features and is well done when it comes to certain aspects. But it will not replace everything you have. Apart from the fact that what I heard now is all the add-ons such as the Airsoft airbosses and PMDG. We won't see any of that before probably mid next year. So for the first year, we are going to fly with default aircraft, and even these are not working properly yet. So just be patient. That's what I can tell you. I'm still going to use it. I'm still going to do streams and going to use it for sightseeing. And it will be the good old Cessna 152 because I think this is a great aircraft. And one of the things I want to do soon is, and you see that my mouse is gone again, also something that I hate about this because my mouse isn't visible. So the only way for me to know where my mouse is because one of these squares starts activating. So let's go to, and then you can't click it. It's one of these many things, and I have to kind of switch screens and things like that, and then suddenly it works again. So this is a flight training, and I'm actually planning to do these sessions and go through the flight training. Reminds me way back on FSX. Really looking forward. The 152 is great. It's a simple aircraft, doesn't have an autopilot, doesn't have all this electronic paboom. It looks good, you can read everything, and it's perfect for also learning how to fly more seriously and not just taking the joystick and knock about with the airplane just like that in outside view. There's a lot of outside view videos out there because people are not flying the aircraft, they are just using it to look at the scenery. So this year I'm looking forward to. I'm going to start. I'm not sure how long these lessons are, but I'm going to do them. Right, that's it. Now definitely, thanks for watching. I hope that was not too negative, but I just want to be realistic here of what I see and what I got here. Still looking forward to the simulator being a bit more mature, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I'm pretty sure, over time. Until next time.